Feel the temperature change the second the headline hits your screen. Pedro Pascal fired by Disney. New allegations. Rock Marvel as Robert Downey Jr. Weighs in. Heart spike. Timelines flood. You're not here for fluff. You want the signal buried under the noise. So listen closely. When Hollywood wants you to look left, the truth usually slips in from the right dot first comma, the silence. Not denial, not a cheeky tweet, not a late night laugh, just quiet from the people who normally celebrate every inch of momentum. Silence isn't empty, it's policy. When stakes are high, one stray word can detonate a quarters plan. Next comma, the sidestep. Answers that sound like answers. We love collaboration. Can't wait for fans to see it. Everyone's excited. If the throne is secure, you say so plainly. If it's not, you dance. Finally, comma, the smile. That micro tightness around the eyes when certain names share a sentence. Body language is a gossip column that never gets sued. Fans feel it even if they can't name it. The vibe tells the story before the press does. Now the twist. Whispers don't paint Robert Downey Jr. as throwing punches. They frame him as setting the room's temperature, a calm emphasis on stewardship, standards, and remembering what audiences actually pay to feel. Not a call out, a calibration. Legacy doesn't shout. Legacy tunes the instrument. Command mode. Guard the standard. Earn the crown. Respect the arc. If anyone tried to sprint to the front of a decade-long marathon, the audience will smell it before the trailer drops. You want the map. You'll get it. The alleged sequence, private notes, a missing scene that changes the spine, an off-mic moment fans won't stop replaying, and the first PR move unfolds next. Track patterns, not posts. The truth doesn't arrive with confetti. It arrives with consistency. Roll the tape, allegedly. Wednesday night, a windowless conference room, no phones, just marked up pages, and people who know exactly how much one beat can cost. The air is professional until it isn't. Notes become stakes. One side wants momentum and lift. The other argues for a more brittle, haunted read, heavy on moral calculus. No shouting, but a line gets drawn you can't see. Only feel. Thursday. Morning revised pages. An assistant notices a ghost. Scene 118B is gone. Fans will later nickname it the spine, the rumored hinge, where Reed earns trust by challenging the plan and choosing cost over cleverness. Cut the spine and the body still looks intact until it tries to stand. Weekend. A red carpet B-roll clip loops 1,000,000 times. 2 smiles, one jaw a shade too tight. Lip readers go to war. Did someone say not the story or not the time? Unconfirmed, but ambiguity is gasoline. The loop becomes the rumor. Monday. Calendars rearrange. Scheduling conflicts. Creative alignment. The trio interview becomes a duo, then solos, then we'll reschedule. PR cards hit inboxes. Be warm, be vague, be brief. That's choreography, not coincidence. And the headline post you came for. Robert Downey Jr. weighs in quietly. Not names, not sides, just a gravity line about stewardship, serving the scene, honoring what the audience paid to feel. A sentence like a metronome. The tempo shifts. Command mode. Silence is a signal. Sidestep is a tell. Missing pages aren't accidents. If this timeline holds even halfway, the next move isn't a quote, it's a rewrite. Stay sharp. We're stepping into the rumor-lit writer's room next. Red pen versus red line, the earn it or don't touch it debate, and why one precise third act hinge might decide who actually leads the future. Welcome to the room where stories live or die, allegedly. On the table sits the third act. It must honor what built the house and ignite what comes next. Rumors say Pedro's camp pressed for Reed, who lingers longer in the wound. More thinking, more bruised genius, less charge. Not wrong in isolation. But every minute you add to contemplation is a minute you risk stealing from ignition. Rhythm is a budget. Across the table. The keepers of the through line slide back a single sentence. Protect the spine. Give us all an ache, but make the choice. Clear when the sky cracks. This is the ethos fans are pinning to Robert Downey Jr. Not a takedown, a standard. Remember why people show up. Consequence, courage, closure. No scene survives if it forgets the covenant with the crowd. Here's your twist. The rumored fix isn't exile, it's integration. A compromise draft restores a surgical version of 118B. Reed still bleeds. He has to. But the beat pivots from analysis to activation. He thinks fast, pays a price, and aims the team rather than holding the floor. The moment clicks from sermon to steel. In the margins. A legacy resonance that steadies without resurrecting. Not spectacle, permission. The past doesn't seize the wheel. It steadies the hands that do. That's how you thread the needle between reverence and forward motion. Meanwhile, fans turn forensic. They line up interviews like frames, clocking inhalations, micro glances, overuse of collaboration. Bodies tell truths press can't edit. Command mode, cut to bone, no crown without scars, no torch without burn, no third act without a price. The draft that wins won't feel clever. It'll feel inevitable. Hold that thought. The next battlefield isn't the page. It's the PR chessboard. Delay, distract, or deliver. And you'll know which one they chose before they say a word. Asterisk. When a studio feels heat, it plays one of 3 cards, and each has a signature you can spot from the cheap seats. Delay is a soft shoe, calendars slide a week, joint interviews quietly fracture into solos, teasers get another polish. Talking points shrink to 2 safe beats. We love collaboration, and we can't wait for you to see it. If the volume drops while the language gets vaguer, that's delay doing its work. Distract is louder. Fresh casting scoops, a behind-the-scenes stunt reel. Concept art dumps at 9 a.m. on a Tuesday. The feed floods with shiny things that have nothing to do with the rumor you're thinking about. If the discourse pivots from story to spectacle overnight, distraction landed. The rarest card is deliver. No essays, no setting the record straight. Just a clip, 30 seconds that proves the spine still holds. A surgical trailer beat that answers the question without burning the twist. When the room goes from guessing to knowing, that's deliver. The pattern so far whispers a 1-2. A touch of delay, shuffled appearances, a burst of distraction, pretty featurettes. But the temperature changed when Robert Downey Jr. emphasized stewardship. Not sides, standards. Legacy doesn't shout, it sets tempo. And tempo forces strategy. So watch the next preview like a detective. Who shares frames? Which names land in the same sentence? What line sits over what image? If you catch half a second of resonance, not nostalgia for its own sake, but a beat that honors cost and aims the future. The studio chose the only winning card left. Command mode. Read calendars, not captions. Placement is policy. And when deliver arrives, it won't announce itself. It will simply work. There's a corridor in every lot where the truth leaks. No cameras, just footsteps, eye lines, and the quiet math of who waits for whom. After a hard note session, choreography shifts by inches that mean miles. Center becomes flank. Flank becomes background. Pair interviews split, photo ops reorder. No fireworks, just gravity. You feel it in micro beats. Answers come a half beat late. Compliments lean on the team instead of a name. Laughter lands fractionally off. Bodies tell the story, press releases can't edit. Then a different rhythm returns. Downey's kind of leadership. He doesn't referee, he stabilizes. A simple principle, earn the moment, and suddenly the band finds tempo again. Call it compatibility, not conflict. Can Reed's brittle brilliance breathe inside an act that must lift when the clock hits red? Can tension convert to release on time? The audience will sit in complexity, but not confusion. They'll honor ache if you pay it off. Here's the twist skeptics miss. The problem might be a hinge, not a person. A beat that asks viewers to process and cheer in the same second. That's a precision job. Miss it, and even great, acting feels like static. Hit it, and the whole room inhales at once. Command mode. Fix the hinge, not the volume. Give thought its edge, then turn it into action we can feel. Let the character bleed and move. If the corridor smiles, looser shoulders, cleaner laughs, eyes that meet without scanning. Clarity won. If not, the silence after the joke tells. You everything. Read the walk, not the post. The corridor is never wrong. Box office isn't bought with noise, it's bought with inevitability. The beat that lands and everyone thinks, of course. The hinge in question sits where plan meets price. Early whispers said Reed held the floor too long. Calculating, persuading, nudging the team toward the colder path. Powerful on paper, risky in the cut. The pulse dips right when it should spike. The rumored fix doesn't shrink Reed, it aims. Him! He still bleeds, he must! But the beat pivots from analysis to activation. A decision drops that honors cost, not cleverness. Eyes lock. The team moves. And threaded through the moment is legacy without necromancy, not resurrection. Resonance. A principle remembered. A torch accepted with burn. The past doesn't grab the wheel. It steadies the hands that do not give the audience half a second of that in a trailer. The right glance, a half-heard line. And they'll finish the marketing for you. Nostalgia becomes fuel, not crutch. New leadership reads as earned, not assigned. Friday explodes, Sunday holds, and the meme cycle salutes instead of sneers. Rules of the road don't change. No crown without scars. No third act without a price. No callback without purpose. If a moment doesn't move the story and the soul, cut it no matter whose chair has the nameplate. Pressure isn't the enemy. Aye.
It's the crucible that burns off the clever and leaves only the true shape. When that final mix hits, no statement will be needed. The room will go quiet, then roar, because the covenant was kept. And if the next preview carries even a flicker of that inevitability, the discourse dies on contact, replaced by something better. Trust. Follow the money. Follow the metric. Follow the machine. When rumors reach a roar, studios don't listen to hashtags. They listen to signals. Pre-awareness curves. Trailer retention. Sentiment deltas by territory. If the graph bends the wrong way, pickups get scheduled. If it bends back, marketing hits the gas. That's the unglamorous engine under this glossy narrative. Whispers say internal dashboards. Lit up the same week, all this exploded curiosity up. Trust wobbling. Intent. Recoverable. Translation. You can keep the audience if you prove the story is aimed, not aimless. That's why the talk shifted from personalities to principles. Stewardship, spine, consequence. It reframes the debate from who wins a room to what earns a ticket. Smart. Now, the logistics rumor, a short surgical round of pickups, not to erase a character, but to sharpen a hinge. Think an extra insert, a tighter exchange, a line that turns thought into motion. No panic, precision. ADR maybe, a corridor reset likely, and a cut that breathes where the pulse was crowded before. You won't read a press release about it. You'll just feel it when the scene lands. Meanwhile, the feedback loop hums. Fan detectives thread microclips. Trade chatter turns cautious. Then Downey drops another temperature check about serving the moment, not the myth on the needle inches toward confidence. Legacy doesn't pick fights with co-stars. It protects the pact with the crowd. Here's your twist. This controversy might be the best thing that happened to the cut. Pressure burns off clever and leaves clear. If the next trailer shows a half second of earned resolve, read aimed team, aligned, cost acknowledged, the discourse collapses into applause. Not because PR won, but because the story clicked. Command mode. Ignore the noise that doesn't change the edit. Watch for proof of intent. If the beat feels inevitable, you won't need insiders. You'll know. This is the part where speculation ends and storytelling takes the wheel. 3 beats decide everything. Promise. The film must remember why you show up. Consequence, courage, closure. Not louder, truer. If legacy appears, it should steady the hands driving noun. Hijack them. That's resonance, not resurrection. Price, no crown without scars. Let the choice cost, let read, bleed, and still move. If the clock hits red and the scene turns from analysis to activation, your chest answers before your brain does. That's the signal. Proof, no statements. A scene, 30 seconds, that straightened the question mark in your head. The right glance, the right half line, the team locking in. We're doing this, and we know what it costs. If that lands, Friday detonates and Sunday holds. Trust returns on contact. What to watch for next. Trailer framing. Who shares frames? Who finishes the line? Music shift at the hinge minor to lift, and a single surgical callback that honors the past with purpose. If you feel the click surprising and correct, the covenant was kept. If not, then expect another round of delay and distraction while the corridor finds its tempo. But if the calibration you've been sensing was real, the studio will choose the only winning card left. Deliver. You came for a verdict. Here's the honest one. The cut will tell you. Not rumor threads, not staged smiles. The cut, and when it hits, you won't need anyone to explain what happened in that windowless room or who won the notes. You'll feel it in the silence. Before the roar, hold your breath for that half second. If it's there, you'll know the future just arrived, durned, aimed, and ready.